Hello everyone, hope you're all doing good. So today we are here for grade 10 maths. The chapter today we discuss that is quadratic equation, and here are the list of the lesson today we covered, that is solve a quadratic equation using a quadratic formula, using a quadratic equation by completing the square, system of linear and quadratic equations. You can find all the lessons on a+student.com. So today we are here for grade 10 maths. Sorry, I was just checking my mic. You can find all the lessons on a+student.com. So open your A plus website, scroll down to the grade 10. Here are the list of the chapters. So we are on the chapter quadratic equation, and here are the list of the lessons. So we are on the lesson, the last lessons, this one, solve a quadratic equation using a quadratic formula. So solve using a quadratic formula. So first of all, I'm going to write it down, the quadratic formula. Okay. So you guys need to understand that basically, if I'm going to say that down this one. So what is the quadratic formula? This is the quadratic formula. Here we are going to write down. So x is equals to minus b plus minus b square minus 4ac. This is under the square root over 2a. So now here the quadratic formula. Let's suppose, what are the a, b and c? A, b and c are basically constants here. What are the constants here? Let's suppose if I'm going to write it down, for example, the simple form of equation. This is the simple, basically you can say that the journal form. Okay, this is ax square plus bx plus c. With the x square term, there is always a. With x term, this is always b, and with no x like constant, this is only c. Let's suppose if I'm going to write it here, some numbers like 2x square plus 3x plus 4 is equals to 0. Now look at here. This one is your a. What is a here? That is 2. What is b here? That is 3. What is c here? Which is 4. Okay, this is your b, this is your a, and that is your c. Now by using these a, b and c, you just need to put it in this one. In place of b, you put that one. In place of a, you put this one. In place of c, in place of b, all that numbers. Okay, now let's start the first question. Now we solve one question and then you are more able to understand how to do it. Let's suppose I'm going to write it here, x square plus 5x plus 6, and they are saying that solve by using the quadratic formula. Okay, so now here we apply the formula. Suppose I'm going to write it down here firstly. So x is equals to minus b plus minus b square minus 4ac over 2a. Now tell me, what is a here? First of all, we're going to write it down. A is 1 because there is no number with x square. It means that this is constant, that is 1. So a is your 1. What is b? Your b is 5. Now what is c? That is 6. Sometime maybe it's in the form of, we solve first positive question and then we solve one negative form of question. Okay, now let's put all the values in the formula. X is equals to minus sign as it is. What is b? This is 5. Plus minus as it is. b square, it means that 5 square minus 4 as it is, a is 1, c is 6, then over 2 and a is 1. Now x is equals to minus 5 plus minus 5 times 5 is 25, minus 4 times 6 is 24, and now 2 times 1 is 2. Okay, now x is equals to minus 5 as it is, plus minus 25 minus 24 is 1 over 2. So now we are just putting it out, minus 5 plus minus 1 over 2. If you have a question like this, you first of all you multiply, then you subtract, and then you taking the square root, and then you are, there are two signs here. First of all, we are going to put this plus with the plus 1, and then we are going to put minus 5 and 2 is same, only just this sign. First of all we are putting the upper sign, then we are putting with the lower sign, minus 1 over 2. Now let's solve. Minus 5 plus 1 is minus 4 over 2. 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4. Answer is minus 2. Now x is equals to minus 6 over 2. Minus minus become plus, and then you putting the sign with the greater number. 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 3 is 6. That becomes minus 3. So here are the two values equals to minus 2 and x is equals to minus 3. These are the two values of x. Okay, this is the way that we solve it. Let's do one more question. So here we're gonna solve this question. 8r square plus 6r minus 7, and then we are going to solve it. Okay, let's do it. B square, it means that 5. Let's do it this one. So the question is 7n square plus 8 and minus 2. 7n square plus 8 and minus 2. That is equals to 0. Same method we follow. Okay, so how can we solve it? Just give me a second. All right, so here first of all I'm going to write it down, the thing which is basically the quadratic formula. Here is n value, so we are just according with the n. Okay, so n is equals to minus b plus minus b square minus 4ac over 2a. First of all, tell me what is a here. So our a is 7, the first value. What is b here? The n value, that is 8. And what is c? That is negative 2. Now you also put the sign with it. These are positive signs, so that's why we are not putting any sign. But here is negative 2, so we are putting the negative sign with it. Okay, just putting the values in the question. Minus b is minus 8 plus minus 8 square. This is b square minus 4. Your a is 7 and your c is minus 2. Okay, you put with the negative sign, over 2 into a, that is 7. Now let's solve. n is equals to minus 8 plus minus 8 times 8 is 64. Now there is minus sign, this is minus sign, minus minus become plus. Now 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 7 is 56 over 7 times 2 is 14. Now n is equals to minus 8 plus minus 64 plus 56 is 120 over 14. Now taking the square of 120, what is the answer when you are going to taking the square root of the, now just taking the square root of 120. Okay, so 10 point plus minus 10.95 over 14. So first we just put it with the plus and then we put it with the negative. N is equals to minus 8 plus 10.95 over 14, and n is equals to minus 8 minus 10.95 over 14. Let's solve it. First of all, we are going to subtract it from the 8. This is 2.95 over 14, and then just div- and then just divide over 14. So the answer is 0.211. Now let's see, 0.211 answer. Now for the second, n is equals to, we are just going to minus 8 and minus. It means that we are going to add up. So 8 add up with 10.95. So it means that it's 18.95. And which sign you put with it? 95. I just put 5. Over 14, but you put the sign with the greater number, that is 10.95, and this is minus sign. Now just divide your answer over the 14. So it's 1.353, but with the negative sign. So what are the two values of n? N is equals to 0.211 and n is equals to minus 1.353. This is the way that we solve it. I'm going to show the full question. Okay, this is the full question. First of all, we check it out. What is A, B, and C in that? Now write down the quadratic formula. This is our quadratic formula, and just putting all the values in place of A, just putting A in place of B, and C we put it all the values, and then in this way we are going to solve. Sometime they are just showing the bracket, sometime maybe like in the form of 64, so we are just putting 8 here. But if there is no, and then we need to finding out the square root and then write the answer in the form of points, placing these two values first in positive and then is it's in negative, and then we just write it down all the terms one by one. Hope you guys understand this lesson, like how to solve the quadratic uh, equation. Okay, now let's discuss the next. Solve the rest of the test questions and also the lesson questions by year. Solve a quadratic equation by using a completing this. All right, okay. So let's discuss solve a quadratic. Basically, solve a quadratic equation by completing the square. So let's do some questions related to that one. Okay, how to do it? Basically, this one. This is the same standard form. Okay, we just separate the constant in that one first of all, and then just making the taking the coefficient of the first and then just dividing over the second. Like for example, f square minus 4f minus 9. First of all, we put it that value there in constant terms other side, and then we check it out what is b here in all of it. B is basically with the term that is only that is not in the form of square. So we are just going to divide it b over the 2 and then taking the square and then adding in both side. Okay, so b is here 4, then we just put divide over the 2, taking the square and then put it in the next other side. And now just adding both the side with that number. Okay, let's suppose step by step we follow. Okay, I'm going to write it here a question. Mm, let's suppose we are taking the question by ourselves. This is the question: x square plus 8x. No, let's take some another. Okay, not x square terms. Let's take this question: f square minus 4f minus 9. F square minus 4f minus 9 is equals to 0. What is the first step that we do? We are just going to, this is our standard form. We isolate basically x square and x terms. Okay, so we are putting f square minus 4f is equals to, this is in negative form. When it moves to the other side, it becomes positive. This is the separation now. Now making the leading coefficient. Here the leading coefficient is 1. Okay, because it's only the single term. Now if there is some value with this, let's suppose there is 2f square, there is 3f square, there is 5x square. So what we do, we divide the full equation over that one and just separate this as in the form of square: x square, y square, f square, or any. Let's suppose here is 5, so we just divide all the number with 5 and then just making first of all separate this. Okay, but here is already it's separated, so we are not doing anything. So that becomes the leading coefficient. Okay, now what is the next step? The next step is we are just going to take b by 2. What is b here? This is your a, that is your b term, and b term, and this is your constant term. So the b is negative 4 over 2. 2 times 2 is 4, and then just taking the square of this, so this square become 4. Okay, this step is very important. You need to understand, we are just taking the b value and then just putting, and we are going to adding on both sides. Now let's suppose I am going to add this 4 on both sides. So f square minus 4f plus 4 is equals to 9 plus 4. Adding on both sides this 4. So here it becomes the form of the square formula, and here come 9 plus 4 is 13. And what it becomes here? Look at here. This become a square plus b square plus 2 minus, sorry, minus 2. What is a? That is f. What is b? That is 2. Minus 2ab. This formula: a square plus b square plus 2ab, and that is equals to a plus b whole square. We make this term as a square b square 2ab. Like how? A square, look at here, then we make b square, then we make minus 2ab. Okay, so what it becomes? A plus b whole square, or if it's in the form of minus, so this become a minus b whole square. So a is f minus b is 2 whole square, and that is equals to 13. This is the way that basically we solve it. Okay, now just taking the square root on both sides and then just solve it. Now I'm going to take the square root of this, square root of this. This square should be cancelled to that square root. Here it becomes only f minus 2 is equals to square root 13. Now let's finding it out the value of square root 13 and then just do it. Solve it then, okay? So the value of square root 13 is 3.6055. And now then just solve it one by one because there are two sign with it. So first sign then with the negative sign, okay? So here f minus 2 is equals to plus minus 3.60. Now we separate this 2, so f still same here. So here 2 is moving, come 2 plus minus 3.60. Now first of all this plus 3.60, then f is equals to this 2 with the minus 3.60. Okay, first we add up to that becomes 5.6055, and then we subtracted 2, that is negative 1.6055, and this is your answer. Hope you guys understand this one. Okay, this is the completing square. Let's do one more question, then you are more able to understand. Let's take a question. Okay, let's take question from here. K square minus 10k plus 9. These are not. Okay, let's take question. This one, k square minus 10k. So what is the first step? Separate these two from the constant. It moving to another side, that become negative 9. Now what we do? We make b by 2, then taking the square. What is b? Minus 10 by 2. 2 times 5 is 10, then minus 5 square, this becomes 25. Okay, so k square minus 10k plus 25, then is equals to minus 9 plus 25, adding both side this one. Then now here it becomes a formula. Which formula? A square plus b square minus 2 a and b. Look, when you open this become k square. 2 times 5 is 10k with negative sign. 5 times 5 is 25. Okay, and when you close this become k minus 5 whole square, and from that 25 minus 9 is 16. So that is equals to 16. Now just taking the square root on both sides. So this should be cancelled. That becomes k minus 5. And now here is also cancel. Why? 4 times 4 is 16. And This is 4 square, that is cancel, and now k minus 5 is equals to plus minus 4. Now k is equals to 5 plus minus 4. So k is equals to 5 plus 4, and k is equals to 5 minus 4. So k is equals to 9 and k is equals to 1. And, and these both are your answers. Okay. Hope you guys understand this lesson, how to do the completing square by using the quadratic equation. This is the quadratic equation, then we are applying the completing square method over that. Solve the rest of the questions by yourself. Hope you guys understand this lesson as well. Now let's start the next lesson, okay? So the lesson is system of linear and quadratic equations. Solve the system of equations. Two kinds of equation is given. Okay. Y is equals to 2x square minus 12x minus 45. Y is equals to minus 12x minus 27. So first of all, we substitute y is equals to minus 12x minus 27 into the first equation, and that's finding it out the value. Then again we plug this value of x in any of the y equation, and then we finding it out the y value. In this way we are just going to finding it out the solutions one by one. Okay, how to do it? Basically, look at here. Parabola equation has an x square terms but not y square terms. So to avoid squaring, it's best to isolate y in the linear equations. Luckily, it's already isolated. Okay, in the first question, it's already isolated. So y is equals to, let me write it here a question, then you are guys able to understand. 2x square minus 12x minus 45. And then y is equals to minus 12x minus 27. Minus 12x minus 27. This is 2x square plus 12x. Now what we do firstly? This is equation 1, and that is we put 2 in 1. So in place of y, it's putting minus 12x minus 27 is equals to 2x square minus 12x minus 45. Okay. Putting same together. So there is minus 12x. So here from 12x is moves. This become plus 12x. 2x square minus 45. There is minus 27. When it moves, it becomes plus 27. You guys remember that thing? If you are going to move from left to right or right to left, signs are changed. Okay, if there is a minus, so it becomes plus. If there is a plus, then it becomes minus. So this should be cancelled, that is 0. So 2x square minus 45 plus 27, this is subtraction, because minus plus is minus, but which sign you put with it? The sign with the greater number. So that is 18, but putting the sign with the greater number. Now 2x square minus 18 is equals to 0. Putting 2x square as it is here, and 18 is moving another. Now dividing both sides with 2. From here it cancel, only x square is left. From here it's 9. Now just because we're finding it out the value of x, so taking square root. This should be cancelled, and here it becomes plus minus 3. Now value of x are given. So you put this value of x from this equation and then just finding it out the values of y. Y is equals to minus 12x minus 27. So first of all, there are two values of x, that is plus 3 and x is equals to minus 3. So first we put plus 3. Y is equals to minus 12 to 3 minus 27. That becomes minus 36 minus 27. Add up minus 63 with negative sign, because 36 plus 27 is 63. Both are negative signs, so these both are added. So here is minus 60. Okay, just write it value of x. X is 3, so your y is minus 60. This is the first combination. Now y is equals to minus 12 into minus 3 minus 27. Y is equals to plus 36 minus 27. So then 36 minus 27 is 9. But which sign you put? Greater number sign. Greater number is positive sign. So when your x is negative 3, your y is 9. These are the two solution sets for that. Hope you guys understand this lesson. Now let's discuss the next question. Okay, one more question from this kind. Is it easy? So I'm going to. So y is equals to minus 41x minus 41x plus 14, and then y is equals to x square minus 30x minus 28. Same thing. First we put this value of y in this one. So this become minus 41x plus 14 is equals to x square minus 30x minus 28. Combining the x terms together, constant terms together. So minus 41x, and this 30 is moving, so this become plus 30x is equals to x square minus 28 minus 14. 14 is also changing their sign. Now first of all, 41 minus 30, it's 11x minus 11x. Then here x square minus 28 minus 14, that is addition. So what's the answer? That is minus 42. Now I'm going to arrange it. X square minus 11x, it's plus 11x minus 42 is equals to 0. Now from here we can check, is it solved using the midterm breaking, or is it solved by using the quadratic equation, or we are just going to check it out. Okay, from that sometime it may be the midterm breaking, sometime it may be the quadratic equations formula. Okay, so from the start it would be same for every question. We are just going to, what we do is from the start we can see that our question, and then we just put it out this value. Okay, after putting the values, we are taking like this way. Now from here, sometime there is a quadratic formula. We already solved the quadratic formula, and sometime it's a midterm breaking. Now let's do the midterm breaking here. If there is no midterm breaking, then we apply the quadratic formula. Okay, let's do it here. So this is x square plus 11x minus 42. How to check it? First of all, we can multiply this term and this term, last two, square term and the constant term. So this is 1, so there is 42. So 42 times 1 is 42. Now we make a factor of 42. What are the factors for 42? Let's make a factor. So 42 are making, we are just making the factors. In the end, we making two factors. When we multiply these two factors, we get the answer of this one. And when we add or subtract these two factors, we get the answer of the middle one. Okay. Now for example, I'm starting from 2. 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 1 is 2. And 21, there is no table for the 21. Is it the right one? Okay, it's plus 1 here. Okay, all right. Now 3 times 7 is 21. Now let's do it here. There are three factors. So we make it, what we do firstly, first of all, we multiply the first and the last digit, then we make the factors. But in the end digits, because last digit and first digit is as it is, we split this one. So which two digits we put it out here, then we multiply, we get the answer 42. But when we add or subtract, then we get the answer 11. So from that reason, we are going to take 14 and 3. 7 times 2 is 14 and 3 as it is. How? Look, 14 minus 3 is 11. 14 times 3 is 42. Now you understand? When we subtract, we get the answer of middle one. When we multiply, then you get the answer of same. So here I'm just going to put it out here. This is a basically thing. Wait. I'm going to put it out here. Plus 14 minus 3x. Okay, plus 14x minus 3x. Understand this one? When you're going to subtract, you get the answer of middle. When you're going to multiply, then you get the answer of that one. How to make the factors? We just, again, I'm going to repeat it. We take a value and c value, multiply, then taking the factors, then we make in the end, if there are 4, 5, 6 factors, we write it, and then we make two values like this way. Here I'm going to make. Okay, we make two values like this way. This is 14, that is 3. When we multiply, that value back again, but when we add or subtract, we get the middle value. This is our main motto. Now what we do, we just take the common. First we take the common of first two digits, then we take the common of last two digits, and the answers is in the bracket would be same. So in the first two digits, which thing is common? Tell me. In the first two digits I'm talking about, these two digits, and then we take common of these two digits. Okay, so first two digit only x is common, so 1x is left here, 1x is taking common. Again 1x is left, only 14 is left here. From this, I'm going to take minus 3 common. X as it is here. Minus minus becomes plus. 3 times which number is 42? 3 times 14 is 42. Look, the answers inside of the bracket is same. It means that our question is right. Now we write only the one is in the bracket and the one which is in the outside of the bracket. Just writing the value, x is equals to minus 14, x is equals to 3. These are the two values of x. Now put this value of x in that one, and then you just finding it out the value of y. This is the same as we have already done. Okay, hope you guys understand this lesson as well. So this chapter is completed. Now in the next session we start the next chapter. So before starting the next session, you guys make sure to practice all these questions, and if you still need any help in any of questions, you can contact tutors by using this live chat button. Click on this, the name and department, and then just send. In this way you directly contact with the tutors. So today we covered the basically grade 10 maths. The chapter today we covered quadratic equation, and these are the last three lessons. So for now, have a great day, you all. See you in the next session. Bye.